Welcome, gamblers. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about the PLTR call option that I just added to my gambling portfolio. Talk briefly about Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chair, and how markets are moving. And then we'll talk about another stock that I am thinking about possibly adding to the gambling portfolio as well. So let's jump right in. So the one that I went for was the 724 strike price of 145, so an expiration date of 724. This is about a week before they report earnings. As I stated in the video before, my thesis is that this stock is going to run up closer to 150, maybe in the 160 range as we get closer to earnings. So I don't plan on playing this that close. If I can, maybe get 50, 60%, who knows, maybe I'll cash out then. So yeah, the SoFi call option has been doing well. I think I'm up 30-40% on that. On yesterday, it went up 13%. It's doing great. So let's jump into Kevin Warsh. He has decided to appoint a task force, and these are the 5 task force that he's been talking about in his first Fed's meeting speech. So Fed communications, the balance sheet, use and reliance on existing data, productivity and jobs, and inflation framework. So I found this little article. This is Liz Thomas. She's on Risk Reversal, which is a YouTube channel. Here on YouTube, you can check her out on Risk Reversal. I think if you go to the market call, there's a little episode they do a day or two. She's talking more about this. But yeah, she's talking about pointing to his new task forces and a shorter policy statement that dropped forward guidance. So he's trying to get away from giving these guys guidance. During the whole meeting, which I did listen to, they keep asking questions, trying to get him to give forward guidance, and he pretty much just gives the same answer and says, I'm not giving forward guidance. So yeah, if you want to hear Liz talk about more about this, I really enjoy her takes on the market. And like I said, you can see her on the Risk Reversal podcast. So markets seem to be pretty much moving the same, pretty neutral reaction. Looks like a small dip here, but kind of leveled out. So pretty much up 1% or so for the week. Not too bad. I think markets are still digesting what he said and still trying to figure out, what's going to happen, his policies and stuff. So we'll see how the markets move next week. I don't know. You never know with these things. They could decide, hey, we don't like these new task force. We don't like not giving forward guidance. The market's always looking for, to the future, the next, 3 to 6 months in particular. So when they don't know what's going on, the market kind of starts getting worried. And so the stock that I'm thinking about adding is Amazon. I think I have a similar, pretty much the same thesis as I do with Palantir. I think it's going to run into earnings. What happens after earnings, who knows? But my bet is going to be that it will move up from here. The main reason why is their capital spend is $200 billion for 2026, and most of that's going into AWS. And they cited that there is huge demand for AWS. So last quarter they were up 28% year over year. If we check it out right here, this is the last 4 quarters. So it's moved up percent over percent year over year. I think it's going to move up again. I think we could be looking at a 30%, maybe even 32. If it gets higher than 32, this stock I think is going to fly, and we're going to be sitting on a $300 stock, no problem. So guys, these guys are making deals with everybody here. This is their last quarter earnings, and you can see the AWS agreements are just all over. OpenAI, which is a ChatGPT maker, Anthropic, which is Claude. You guys know Meta, NVIDIA. Of course, everybody knows over. The list goes on and on and on. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, they've cited demand, and that's why they're putting, billions and billions of dollars. So let's talk about what call options I'm going to be targeting. The same thing with the Palantir. If you guys didn't see that video, I'll put it as the pinned comment so you can check it out. July 17th dates is where the most open interest volume, just like the Palantir call options. This isn't going to be the one that I'm going to be targeting. I'm going to give myself another week. So July 24th, and I will be targeting about somewhere between 265 and 275. So I'm hoping to get maybe the 265 to come down a little bit, and that might play into whether maybe I add another Palantir call to the gambling portfolio or I add, Amazon. So, yeah, that's where I'm standing. That's what I'm going to be looking for in the markets next week. Guys, if you want to see the next move I make, hit the subscribe button so you can check it out. And I'll see you in the next one.